We had a saying that some of you may have used. It is a good day to be in the infantry. Now keep in mind, this wasn't meant to reflect a good day. It was used to make light out of a lousy situation that we couldn't get out of, and we only had ourselves to blame for enlisting as 11 Bravo. There might have been a sense of pride in that as well. And actually, it was my father who enlisted me because I was under 18. But being on juvenile probation at the time, he didn't mind. A couple of years later, in 2003, I met the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. So I asked her out. And on our first date, it was just the start of the Iraq War, so she asked me, are you going to get deployed? And I told her, no way. Our unit, we were just asked for volunteers to go to Egypt. And so we were low on numbers. Of course, I just wanted that second date. At the Big River, I even asked my dad before we went, hey, what kind of wine should I get her to impress her? At 22, I was a bit of a drinker, but wine wasn't my first choice. With the start of the Iraq War, 6 months later, we received orders to go. It was an all-expense-paid vacation to the Middle East, not knowing if it was a ticket for round trip or just one way. We might have said, it is a good day to be in the infantry. In Iraq, we were given metal detectors and told to walk down the street to look for roadside bombs. We might have said, it is a good day to be in the infantry. When our truck got hit by a roadside bomb, we had to limp it back to base, get a new truck, and drive right back outside the wire. We might have said, it is a good day to be in the infantry. People often ask what war is like. It's a hard question to answer. My best response for what war was like for me, it was like spending a year in a foreign country where complete strangers want to kill you, and they're pretty good at it. A bad day at the office is when your coworker, your neighbor, your friend is killed, or when two of them are killed on the same day. In Iraq, we spent months patrolling the roads looking for the IEDs, the improvised explosive devices. Only you couldn't find them, they found you. It's like our orders were to drive up and down the highway to get blown up so the convoys carrying supplies wouldn't. I kicked myself for not joining the Air Force. Shortly after the war, the VA diagnosed me with post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. I couldn't drive on I-5 or be in crowds, and surprisingly enough, I still had a hard time with authority. But I also diagnosed myself with post-traumatic growth. It's being researched by the University of North Carolina and addresses the concept that someone can become stronger after surviving a traumatic experience. In the last 12 years, I've married that beautiful girl I met at the cantina, had two beautiful daughters named Mia and Simone, got a bachelor and master's degree, bought a home using a VA home loan, and became the executive director of the Salvation Army's Veterans and Family Center. None of this could have happened if it wasn't for the war, and that is post-traumatic growth. Having greater appreciation for life, knowing that some of our fellow veterans never got to come back home and enjoy this holiday for themselves. Having greater appreciation for life and for family and friends after being separated for a year and a half. And having a greater understanding and relationship with others who shared similar experiences, like being here with all of you today. And I have good news. My daughter Mia, she found a cure for PTSD, fidget spinners. One spin and breathe deeply until it stops. And if you don't have a fidget spinner, The next time you get triggered, tell yourself to stand down. Be your own squad leader. Order yourself to stand down. Because even though today is Veterans Day, veterans and civilians, we are in this together. Nah, you might reply. I did 2 tours while my best friends played video games, worked retail jobs, and hung out with members of the opposite sex. Yeah, maybe they never went to work carrying an automatic machine gun, but while working those retail jobs, they paid taxes. The Congressional Business Office estimates the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan will cost the U.S. $2.4 trillion from 2001 to 2017. I had to Google how many zeros are in a trillion. It's 12. That's over $7,000 per U.S. citizen. But wait a minute, my daughters, they don't pay taxes, thank goodness. And so per U.S. taxpayer, that's an average of $20,000 that we have paid for these wars in the Middle East. Veterans and civilians, we're in this together. Because I don't know about you, but it takes me a long time to make $20,000. I work for the Salvation Army. Now civilians, don't go telling the next veteran you see how much you sweated for these wars. But I do want to acknowledge and say thank you for supporting us. And veterans, the next time you get annoyed or frustrated with a civilian, remind yourself that their taxes paid your salary while you were serving. We are in this together. At the Veterans and Family Center, every day is Veterans Day. We serve over 100 meals to over 60 veterans, and we provide room, board, and case management to veterans experiencing homelessness.